Our names, Tanya.
Oh.
Steve. Hi. Ian. Jenny.
Ryan.
Jane.
Yurgis. Cass.
Julia. Maggie.
Chris. Anthony.
Martin.
Chris. Brendan. Jürgen.
Claudia.
Lockie.
Jacinta.
Dean.
Peter.
Peter and
Estelle.
Erlen.
James.
Saroja. Mike. Oh, thank you.
Voices there.
Yes.
Well, what we talk about here, if you're new to it, is what they call in the ancient texts or scriptures non-duality or Advaita. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Hooray. Advaita meaning one without a second, not two. That there is only that. That is all there is. And when you look into it, you'll see that it's so. There's only one essence, one life, one being that's patterning, shaping, forming, expressing as everything. Only that. And you've already heard that, because that's the great mantra. I am that. I tell you that straight away. I am that. And when you come to look at it, you see it's so. Because isn't that a chair you're sitting in? Isn't that the carpet on the floor? And that's the light, that's the tree. That's the mountains, the valleys, the cars, the trains. Everything is that already. And we've taken on the idea, the concepts from the words we've learnt. There is something other than that. And that's the cause of all our all our problems. Because we say, that is the chair, that's the carpet, that's you, that's me. And I say, everything and all this manifestation is made up of things. You're a thing, I'm a thing, the tree's a thing. All things patterning, shaping, forming, and expressing as other than that. But in looking into it, investigating, you see, that is all there is. So that's why we say here, whether you understand it or recognise it or not, start from the fact that there is only that. That is all there is. And if you recognise that, start from there. Who or what is there become to become something other? You'll see there is nothing other than that. And if that is so, you must be that. Not much good at this talking today. Bit of a change. But still. Well, I'm saying needs to be investigated and looked at. We've taken on this idea that we are this person, this body, this mind. But are you the body? Are you the mind? Or won't you say my body, my mind? Who are you talking about if you're saying my body, my mind? You realise you've got a concept. There is something other than what you actually and believe you are. So, another thing they point out is the false cannot stand up to investigation. You look at some of these things we believe to be so, investigate them, and see that it's not so. You say, I am the body, but are you the body? If you believe you are the body, what's this body made up of? You realise the body's made up of elements. Air, earth, fire, water, space. Just the elements around you. Are you the air? You are not only the air. Are you the mind? Are you the thoughts? You see, you can't say you are not these thoughts, nor can you say that they are, because it all appears and is seemingly so. And you see that quite often. If you go down to the ocean and I said to you, get me a bucket of blue water out of the sea, what would you say to me? You'd say it'd be stupid, because the water is not blue. The ocean is not blue. It appears to be blue. Lots of other things you look at when you look into them and say, things are not as they appear to be. And in that belief that you get caught up in these things, well, you lose sight of the reality and take on this belief that we are something other than what appears to be so. And it is not as it appears to be. So the appearance is not reality. And when you look into the scriptures again, you'll see that so. I tell you that the basic space of phenomena, they're telling you what it all is. It's all, everything is space. Space. It's all the base of everything. It is a phenomenal manifestation. Can't be anything other than that. And we put these labels and words and believe that we are the word, the label, the thing. Now have a word, look at that word belief. When you look into the word belief, you'll see the definition of belief is an unquestioned acceptance of something in the absence of reason. Acceptance of an alleged fact without positive knowledge or proof. So you've got these beliefs that you are this and that. When you investigate it, you'll see it's not so. You are different from what you believe it to be. And so we look past or through the actuality, the reality, and take it to be how it appears to be. But when they say the basic space, the base of everything, in which all this manifestation appears in, is space. Can you postulate or think of anything at all that can be outside of space? What would be in it? You realise it couldn't be anything other than the space. Space is the essence of it all. And what we appear to be, the body, the mind, and everything else in this manifestation are the adornments of space. They only appear in space. Now, any of this manifestation, is it appearing in anything other than space? Have a look and see, and see. You see, it can't appear anywhere except in space. So everything is that basic space we take to be real. And on investigation, you'll see it is not so. So we've got to look through and recognise and see that things are not as they seem to be. They appear to be this and that, and words and labels we've picked up along the way. We get caught up in the word, in the space, and take it to be real, which it is not so. But is there anybody who is unaware right now? And you'll know immediately, no, I'm not unaware. You realise you are this immediately, and always, this ever-fresh presence awareness, this absolute nowness, beingness. And recognise that, what are you left with? You're left with the space itself, which they call a cognising emptiness. Emptiness with the capacity of cognising or knowing. Now, is there anyone here who is not knowing that you are right now? Can anyone say I am not? You realise you can't say you are not, because why? Because the knowingness there is I am. I am that reality. I am that sense of presence. Now how does this become the problem? Well, we learn all these words. I am Bob, or I'm Bill, or I'm Jane, or Betty, or whatever my name is. People have been called by our parents. We take this to be what I am. And that label, you know, is only a person, a conceptual image I have about myself. And the Sagadatta tells you, there's nothing can trouble you except in your own imagination. Break that down, imagine, or imagine. And say that's all it is. It's some conceptual label we've taken on and take to be real. If you're not the person, you are not the pattern, shape and form, what must you be? Well, the only thing you can be. You must be this absolute, this reality, this one without a second. They try and describe as not two, only the one. And you look into that also, you'll see it's the only belief in this sense of separation that is the cause of all your problems. It's only me that can be unhappy, only me that can be jealous or envious, full of pity, full of shame. Me is the cause of all my psychological problems. We've got all these fears, anxieties, stresses, and anger, and all the rest of all these fears come up, and we beat ourselves up with the sensation or the feeling, take ourselves to be the separate entity, the individual. But no, Nisargadatta doesn't Nisargadatta tell you, nothing can trouble you except your own imagination. Whatever you are imagining and you're believing in it, that's the problem. The problem. You are a little bit more than an image. You are the absolute. It tells you that, well, the Buddha also tells you, there is only that consciousness or presence awareness. And they call it a cognizing consciousness. Consciousness with the capacity of cognizing or knowing that I am. So then we take on the belief that we are this body-mind, which is nothing but a conceptual image, instead of seeing what I really am. That I am this body-mind entity. I am this pattern, shape and form. And recognise it's only the me that can be fearful. It's only the me that can be anxious, full of self-pity, or unhappy. That me is the cause of all my psychological problems. And the effects are these concepts I've got about fear, anger, depression, guilt and remorse. Take on to people in this conscious, this psychological pattern that I am the separate entity, not the absolute. And he calls it a cognizing emptiness. And he made the statement then that emptiness is form, meaning that all these forms, including you, me, and everything in this room and outside of the room, is nothing but the cognizing emptiness. It's only emptiness vibrating into different pattern shapes and forms. So he made the statement, emptiness is form, turned it around the other way and said the form can be nothing other than the emptiness. But instead of taking it to be the emptiness, we take it to be this individual, this person, and suffer because of that. That is the cause of my anxiety, my fear, the belief that there is this capacity of being and knowing by the empty form. So when that's investigated and looked into and seen the falseness of it, what must happen? Well, could you believe it anymore? If you look into something and see that it's not the truth, and then you look into the Bible and those other scriptures until you know the truth, and the truth will set you free. You see where the freedom is, in seeing through the belief and recognising your true nature. That you're not the body, you're not the mind, you're not this person. You are the life intelligence, the life energy. Taking a stance there. Who is there to be fearful? Who is there to be anxious or full of self-pity or depressed? So if you've got nothing to relate to, that must leave you as it is. Purely this presence, awareness. Nothing other than that. And you see when you investigate that it is so. I am not this person. I am not this body. What I am is that reality, the absolute. You can't add anything to absolute. Have a look and see. If you are the absolute, you could add anything to it. It wouldn't have been absolute. If you can take anything away from it, it wouldn't be absolute. And if there's a belief there that you are other than the absolute, or you've stripped away from your true nature. Because it's only the absolute that pattern shapes and forms and expresses as all these different pattern shapes and forms. There is only that absolute. And they tell you that too when you look into the scriptures. Woe says, why are you unhappy? Because everything you say, everything you think, and everything you do is for yourself. And he says there isn't one. When you look at that, it's, is there a personal self there? Are you the body? And you know you're not the body because you say, my body. Well, who is it, or what is this claiming the body? If it's my, is it the body claiming the body? How could it? So it's not the mind, are you? The mind, are you? The next thought. You know you're not a thought. So when you look at those things, you'll see that they're all false. And where does that leave you? It must leave you as what you already are, always have been, and always will be. The absolute, the non-dual, one intelligence energy that's pattern shapes, forms and experiences and everything. So investigate that and see for yourself, because nobody can do it for you. Nobody whatsoever. It's got to be something that's recognised, a cognising emptiness that's been lost sight of and needs to be recognised. In that recognition, you are free from these erroneous beliefs. And then you'll get the taste of what they call the great perfection. And they'll tell you that clearly, that the great perfection is non-conceptual awareness, awareness without any concept. And you'll see that is so. That's what we point to. I'm rambling on, making a hell of a noise over nothing. But everybody here can be aware of that fact. And some of you are, and done a little bit of investigation, and see for yourself that it is so. And the scriptural saying is, know the truth, and the truth will set you free. That's where the freedom, peace, and joy is, in that recognition that you are the one essence that's patterning, shaping, forming, and experiencing it as everything. And there is only that. So, as I say, a lot of you know that. Cat can take over and host the meetings and get to those that understand it to point it out, wherever it's said in different terms to what I'm saying. Somebody might recognise it, and somebody might put it another way, that others might hear it. But that's how it's passed on, from one to another. And they tell you, in the Bible, in the beginning was the Word. In the beginning was the Word. That's where it all begins, with the Word. The Word was with God. The Word was God. All things were made by Him, by the Word. And there was nothing made that was made without the Word. Have a look at that and see if that's not true enough. You've got words for absolutely everything. But the Word is not the thing. You can't drink the Word water. You can't cook with the word fire. All these words have their own particular meaning. But we take it to be me or I. Take like a false identity, which is not true. I'm at the end of the road. I won't be talking much longer because the voice is gone. But I've had a good run of it for quite a few years. So nothing's lost, nothing's gained. but there are plenty here can take it up from where it's left off here and keep reinforcing it and pointing it. Thanks, Kat.
And I'll just include, because I told you guys, but the online community, you may not know, we have a big attendance today, not because of our wedding anniversary, but because I actually put up the announcement that this will be the last of Bob's public appearances. This is not the last satsang, as I know Bob, as long as the voice is there, he will relentlessly pour out his heart for us to see that there is life without suffering, totally possible. So we will be live streaming probably from now on. We will probably, that's because we're going to rearrange the house, and as Bob's health condition progresses, there is more pain medication involved, and mobility is going, so we're going to have a hospital bed there in the room. There won't be any space for the participants, but you can still be with us online, like we have the online community with us right now. And I'm going to just include them. There is a lot of love messages and good morning messages, and there's a big crowd here as well online, so thank you for showing up as well. Wonderful to be with you again, and much love from Catherine, and beautiful Bobcat, good morning from Joe, and Anika says, good morning, so good to see you and hear you, Bob, giving his spiel. So to hear Bob giving his spiel, so grateful for the satsangs, but especially how powerfully this life has been impacted by the pointings. Eternally, lovingly grateful. And this is, I think, a wonderful way to actually just summarize how, because we have those conversations with Bob fairly often, how we can see the change in people and the psychological suffering easing off and dropping away. But if it can come actually from you to give him that statement back, that will be even more beautiful. But I'll just include a couple of more comments. Good morning all, and from Giotti and Sol says, great to see you show up again and again, Bob. So much love and gratitude for all that you are for all. And morning messages, and Jenny, my goodness, this is like 1 o'clock at night, isn't it? Thank you, Jenny, for showing up. And eternally grateful, she says, for all your pointings, Bob. Wish I was there in person with you all. Yeah, that would be lovely. And yes, deeply grateful for the internet right now. What a blessing to be able to be with you despite residing on the other side of the globe. Much love. And Primali says, eternally grateful for amazing kindness. And Sally, thank you, dear Bob, for helping us in a great remembering of who we all are and always have been and always will be and love. David says, good morning. And Melinda, looking great and sounding as wonderful as always, Bob. Love you. And Gilbert says, see, see, Gilbert says, for yourself, no other way. Absolutely. And thank you from Tanya and Giotti. And Bill says, Bob, your clarity and energy is amazing. And Tristan, thank you, Bob, love you. And Caroline Pixie, external love, thanks, Bob. And Hansa, so grateful for all of Bob's giving and kindness, love and light. Take it in, my darling. Yes, and that's it for the online community. Anyone would like to express whatever comes up, whatever helps, whatever works, and let him have it. Yeah, Maggie, please.
Bob,
Yes.
I'm going to ask you one question. I heard another teacher say if I was going before a guru, a god, a teacher, I'd want to make that question the question of the fucking century. And here it is. We've all got here, I'm quite sure, because we didn't have happy childhoods. My question to you is ever too late to have a happy childhood? Where the gods that are taking care of you care for you? Where you're not frightened? Where you can trust and you know you're loved? This universe wants us to grow, but it doesn't grow unless there's friction. Well, I've had enough of that friction. And, Bob, I did bring you that blanket that my mother knitted for another drunken sailor. And it's in Ewan McPherson McGregor Mackay. And she knitted every stitch with love. And he was a sober alcoholic.
Well, there you go.
And the
Everything with love.
Mysterious way. So I got an easier childhood, a great bonus dad. when my other dad left. Another sailor who just drifted off into the ocean and never came back. I mean, what is it with you sailors? But it is. I'm answering my own question, Bob. If I haven't learned anything from you in 20 years, Jesus, what are we all coming back for? Because we're not trusting that we know. I know. Yes. I am that.
Good.
And I'm having the happiest childhood. I've just come up to see a 4-day-old grandson, and I'm watching the conditioning. His name, he's got chunky thighs, immediately sexualised as a boy. But that's the way it is. And when we get out of accepting things exactly as they are, because it's none of my business. You know, I come up from Wonthaggi, but I used to come by through Corumburra, and on the school fence there was a banner that led to Burke Road, and it said, "Don't worry about tomorrow, God's already there." And I laugh at that, but it gives me that mustard seed of hope. I'm not in charge, and I can let go, and I'm intending to have whatever's the rest of my life, because I was nurse for 50 years. And if there's any samsaras and karma, I paid my dues because it came from the heart. And this is my other question. You know, you're old and rusty. It's time to hand it over to the Shakti. It's evolving. The teaching's evolving. And it's evolving into love in action. And that's why this angel's been brought into your life, and I was brought here today. Because I'm not frightened to say what I mean. Fuck, I'm me, I'm God. Why would you argue with yourself?
Yeah.
I love you so much, Bob. Oh my God, you can't know how much I love you. And I said that to you once, and you know what you said? You're just loving yourself. And I went off for 20 years doing more research because I wouldn't trust what I saw in your goddamn eyes. Hallelujah! And I have said in this room, I was the only one to stick my head up, this is dry yarny. Time for that's over. And thank God for it. Thank God for it. It was the truth forced down our throats. That Nizzagadara was a tough little guy, and so are you. But it's time for bhakti. At least he liked bhajans. He liked a bit of a jiggle. Come on, Bob. It's time for a change, and it's time for you to do whatever you want with whatever time you've got left. Hallelujah. And the energy in this room, the love that's infusing you, is infusing us, is infusing you. That's who we truly are. That's who we truly are. And this knowledge must, and I'm borrowing on Muji, I'll confess, but it must combust into action. It must combust into authenticity. I'm just a little old lady from the sticks and as neurotic as hell. But damn it, no, I'm not. I'm God.
Yes.
I am that, and thou art that, and thou and thou, we are that. Thou.
Don't
Love's in
forget
the
it.
room. Thank you so much, Bob. And thank you to that Darrow Dave, that other alcoholic in my life who's not here. And you know why he's not here, Bob? Because he understands everything you've ever said to the letter, right? And this is what I'm talking about, the Shakti and the Shiva. Now he's Dryani, he's an Aquarian. Let's not eschew relativity fear, folks. Let's talk Pisces. My little baby's from the stars with Pisces in his eye. But anyway, this guy brought me here, but he didn't come today, despite my pleadings, asking, manipulating, and then letting go. You know why? Because he knows what you're talking about, and he's not going to come back and say thank you to himself. He knows he's with me, and he has to put up with me, but he's getting the Shakti he needs. Dryani, it's like it's got to be yin-yang, it's got to be balanced. And the best thing you can do is hover at the doorway of perception. Hover and make discerning. You can do it. It means coming back to the now. I know I'm animated, but I've got to speak the truth. And here's the thing, and I'm saying this publicly and live on air, and this was Osho that said this. He said, if you get a vision, it's getting information you could never get by any other means. Right? I never questioned what a vision was. I just thought it was what people in the Bible had. So it was yaya land to me. But Nisargadatta's there in one of my meditations. Nisargadatta appeared before me, speaking Marathi, and it was him. And I said, how can I understand you? And he just looked at me and said, how can you not? How can you not? And it's true. It's all illusion. But it's a sweetness to it, a bhakti.
Tell him to come up and let us hear from what he's got to say.
Right?
I say, tell him to come up and let us hear what he's got to say.
Oh. You want me to channel him? He's here. He's always here. He was never here, but he's always here. But you know what he said to me? And I'm saying this, the only people to hear this, and you can say I'm crazy, whatever you like, but this is what happened in this vision where I got this information. And he said, your name's Narada Data. And I said, how can I understand you? And he said, how can you not? Anyway, I looked up this Narada Data thing. Data's from Marathi, from Hindu. It means bestowed. Narada was the highest disciple of Vishnu. He was the highest disciple of Vishnu. He was a musician. He was mercurial. He was knowledgeable. He was a teacher. And many, many years ago when I lived in Fitzroy, I got off the tram and went to this shop and bought this basalt statue 45 years ago. Never heard of Advaita, I'd heard of Buddha, and I knew it was maybe Hindu. I wasn't a total ignoramus. And this thing's just missed me for 45 years. And it's Vishnu. And I looked it up, and I know I'm animated, but he's just a watcher. It's just another metaphor for that serenity. It's a serenity. Anyway, Bob, I've really harped on, and I just love yous all. And people will get that because my little grandson's half Maltese, so there's just beauty in diversity. And the universe, God, is always seeking to evolve that. Yes, and that's why you need the friction to make it want to go better and further or a different direction. We are just energy. Oh, I love you so much, and I'm so sorry for taking up so much time.
It's beautiful, Maggie. Thank you very much. I have a couple of statements here from the online community. A couple more statements, and I can hear the song coming up, so I'll be quick. So David says, I had no idea this was your last public meeting. The functioning in action, eh, Bob? Yes, he will still be streaming live, I hope. Depends on how much of a voice is left with the... And much love on your anniversary, thank you. And thank you, Bob and Kat, from Susan. And Colin says, thank you, Bob, for being the shining light that we all are and showing the way. Much love. Happy anniversary from Jyoti, and let go or be dragged from JC, and a happy anniversary from Jane. Thank you so very much. I'm so grateful. This was the gift that I was asking for, to just be here together and hear him speak, hear him animated, not... And Kathy, lots of love, Bob. Thank you beyond words. And JC, thanks, Bob, for your pointers and clarity. Much love. And hearts from Jane. And let's give voice to the guitar. Hello. Just tuning up. There is so much magnificence here beside the ocean. Waves are rolling in, waves are rolling in. There is so much magnificence here beside the ocean. Waves are rolling in, waves are rolling in. There is so much magnificence here beside the ocean. Waves are rolling in, waves are rolling in.
inside the ocean. Waves are rolling in, waves are rolling in. There is so much magnificence here inside the ocean. Waves are rolling in, waves are rolling in. Hallelujah. Here inside the ocean. Hallelujah. Waves are rolling in, waves are rolling in. There is so much magnificence here inside the ocean. Waves are rolling in, waves are rolling in. There is so much magnificence here inside the ocean. Waves are rolling in, waves are rolling in. There is so much magnificence here beside the ocean. Waves are rolling in, waves are rolling in.
We love you, Bob. We love you, Bob.
And cat.
Okay. Happy anniversary.
Yeah, anyone up for the dishes? And there are more on the window there behind Ruchika. Ah, beautiful. Thank you. And we have another couple of comments here. Happy anniversaries from Ram and from Tazi, and Salila says sweet surrender, so much gratitude and love. And Jenny, beautiful, tears flowing. And Anika, oh my God, crying, so much love. Oops. So much magnificence. Oh, Bob, you are radiating bliss, and the angel beside you. The love, the love. And Leela, an expected gift to turn on Wi-Fi phone and see this live transmission. Now surprised to hear the song we made in Pune when Bhagawan requested songs inflicted by mystics. My name was then Prem Sagara, Ocean of Love. And blessings, soul says, so beautiful. Thank you. Gonna say something, darling? No?
You're hosting the meeting.
I am. Yeah.
Bring it down. Yeah, bring it down. Years and minutes of uncertainty, I long to be in the warm home of your loving mind. For me to love you now would be the sweetest thing, would make me sing. Ah, but I may as well try and catch the wind. When sundown pale
fills the sky. I want to bide a while behind your smile, and everywhere I look, your eyes I find. For standing in your heart is where I want to be, long to be. But I may as well try and catch the wind. When rain has hung the leaves with tears, I want you near to kill my fear, to help me to leave all my blues behind. For standing in your heart is where I want to be and long to be. But I may as well try and catch the wind. Dee 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 dee. Dee 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 dee. For me to love you now would be the sweetest thing. 'Twould make me sing. But I may as well try and catch the wind. Love you, Bob.
I have another couple of comments here, and Kathy says, Chris says, love you guys, and Kathy, what a beautiful beauty you created, Bob, such a beautiful community surrounding you. And Tanya says, love you, Bob and Kat, beautiful music, people, beautiful expressions of the one essence. And she's asking Jane, what's the song? Catching the Wind. Catch the Wind. Donovan, yes. And also I would like to invite, because I know what actually really what will be the best gift, bring back that light of realization, like jump back on that non-duality recognition and tell him how it actually really impacted your life, so everyone, him and everyone, can hear how this message can really transform and release from psychological suffering. I had a brief discussion with Dean yesterday when we had a good laugh at examples, life examples, how there is a thought and there is a disturbance and there is no thought and there is a peace, there is immediacy. And I can tell you that, you know, going through Bob slowly losing the body, losing capacity, getting weaker, eating less, and being in that is absolutely delightful and blissful, because we are grounded in presence. So we are together. Every moment is a moment of presence and togetherness, and sharing and reflecting love, looking into each other's eyes with absolute gratitude for that moment, to be full of his presence. And then the phone call comes and people ask for facts, you know, for stories. Okay, so how does it progress? You know, how was it last week? How is it going to be next week? That's upsetting. I mean, through exposure, I have to answer those type of phone calls and messages many, many times through the day. But you can actually see clearly how the moment is blissful. He's here. What is there to cry about? He's here. This is the call for gratitude. But then the story comes, and the story is of decline. The story is of increasing pain medication, of losing capacity. Story is nasty. There is nothing in the story, even though it's dramatic, of course, for the mind it's absolutely wonderful, fascinating, juicy. But there is nothing in the story that could capture the sanctification, the mystery, the beauty of the moment. And story actually clouds it over. And then you can miss that aliveness by engaging with the context, which may be necessary. When I talk with the palliative care, of course, that's necessary. It's not to discard the story, but to remember that this is just the imposition, overlay of the narrative, that this is not life, this is not reality. Reality is now. And if anyone could actually bring back, show us, over the years, some of you were here for a few months, some of you were here for a few decades, how the life got easier, more blissful, and more present and grounded and juicy and alive, when you realize that the story is just a story and not the truth, not the reality. And I see Dean has the...
Yes, to get it.
Go for it. Oh, I thought you were going to say something. Oh, okay.
Thanks, Bob. Thank you for everything. I think when I first started coming a few years ago, I'd read other books on truth and other teachings, and I came here and I was like, oh, this is like, in my mind was like, this conflicts. I have to reconcile this. Blah 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 blah. And then the longer I was here, the more I could just see that there is just no conflict in anything that Bob's saying, and that it just incorporates everything. Like, there is no resistance there. It's just pure love, and that love is everything. It's the teachings that have been to prior, people not in teaching, people arguing with teachings. It's all just that incorporated or part of, inextricably, that love that is everywhere. And that, any time that I'm lost in a thought, it's just the lack of awareness of that love, and you step for a moment into that space and you see that there is no resistance there. It's just imagined resistance, almost. Like, it's just such a beautiful thing being in this space where that's so obvious. You can't avoid it. And listening to the singing is just an incredible space of love. So thank you, because it just seems like that is so accessible now in my life, whereas previously it was just little bits here and there, and now I know that it's always there. It's just occasionally it gets forgotten, and then you see it's there and nothing's changed. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Beautiful. And Sharon says, happy anniversary, Bob and Kat. What a blessing for you to find each other as part of the experiencing. Love and kindness always emanating from you, blessed. Yes, that's for sure the most magnificent part of the whole dream. And to hear him say, I'm the love of his life, and for him to hear the same say, like, on daily basis, it is. I remember Nisargadatta saying that, answering question on the duality, why would life polarize itself into male and female, and find a search in which, it has to find and fulfill that. The happiness possible in the recognition that there is only one, there is not two. There is the same life, the same aliveness reflected. When I look at him and there is nothing in the way, I see myself and he looks at me and there's nothing in the way. And the brilliance of that joining, thank you for all the wishes. It is absolutely brilliant and out of this world. Thank you. And Kavisha?
Hello, I just wanted to say, I love your saying, what's wrong with right now if you don't think about it. And I printed it out and I stuck it on my piano. So whenever I go to the piano, I see you there saying, what's wrong with right now if you don't think about it. And it's such a beautiful pointer to snap one out of drama and worry and fear, because there's just so much trust of life in that statement, and I hope that trust rubs off on me more and more. So I really want to say thank you. I haven't been here for very long, I don't know, as long as a lot of other people, but I've felt just very warmly welcomed, and it's so beautiful to be with such a loving community and very healing, and I think it's like a little stone, and there's these ripples going out. And thank you, Kat. Thank you, Bob. Love you.
Wonderful to have you with us. So wonderful. Thank you.
Words aren't really adequate enough for me to thank Bob. It's been 40 years nearly since I was blessed to meet him, and you know, I was I was a bit of a nightmare when I met him, to say the least. And he gave me "I Am That" in 1988, and he said, read it and read it again and read it again. And, you know, that transformed my life. Well, it showed me I was life. It showed me the only truth I know for sure is that I am. And that the wonderful pointers that Bob has selflessly been giving to everybody. And I've been, you know, listening to them for 40 years. They are tangible in this expression of life, because, you know, the proof's in the pot. Truth eats away the lie. Truth eats away the story. There's no doer. You don't have to do anything. All you do is be aware of the truth of your own being and love it and be warm towards it and give it a little nudge and a wink. And, you know, as Lockie said, that becomes more prominent and the stories become less evident and less listened to. And so, you know, that love grows, that truth grows, and you never did anything. So I just want to say I love you, Bob, and, you know, you have had such a huge impact on my life and the life of my family. So the gratitude is palpable. Thank you.
Thank you. Beautiful.
Yeah, well, words. Hard to find words to, but they'll come, and I think that's the teaching, isn't it? That's the understanding, is that it's here, it's right now, and I can say that that Bob, you've had the biggest impact, the most important impact on my life, and it like a little chick and a duck or whatever, you know, like a baby. I felt like I was a little baby when I first met Bob decades ago, and I was very attached and needed to come all the time. It was a lifeline, you know, because I needed to hear the pointing again and again and again and again to keep reminding me of the truth of what I am, and miraculously that truth grows legs. The beingness grows legs, and it roots, and it, like a really strong tree, gets stronger, and to the point where I was, you know, coming, and that attachment to Bob got less and less over the years, and the suffering is just not real. I mean, suffering apparently happens at times, and then it's just seen, and it's because of what I heard through Bob. The simplicity of that, the clarity of that very, very first time I ever heard Bob speak, and he's saying exactly the same today as he was back then. Nothing has changed, and it bypassed the mind, and it went straight into the heart of who I am. And there was no question. There was absolutely no question of the truth of what was being pointed at. And it was like at 19, I was like, oh my God, that's what I've been looking for, and I didn't even know it. And the tears that are coming and welling up are not tears of loss or despair, or they're just utterly coming from this place of recognition, of absolute recognition of the truth of that huge impact that you've had on my life. And you came to me in my dreams last night. It was the most vivid dream. And you were at a market stall, and you were standing there selling something. I don't know, probably nothing. and I and I saw you, and I came behind the table, the counter or whatever of the stall, and we just embraced, and it was almost like the last embrace in a way. And I in my dream was carrying some kind of wanting to hold on to you, and you just the words you spoke were something like, there were no words actually. There was just some kind of sense of, oh, okay, it's okay. It's all okay. There's nothing lost. There's actually nothing lost, and just this sense of the beingness of who and what you are is what I am, and that was that kind of recognition. And funnily, I'm not feeling emotional right now. I mean, the tears, or it's just a deep sense of, oh yes, thank you, Bob. Thank you so much. Yeah, so grateful.
Beautiful.
And we have a couple more comments. David says, yes, Kat, life is easy when I don't think about it. And there's a couple of hearts seconded. And Jenny says, so well spoken, Kat. And JC says, just thinking of the courage it took to go see Sri Nisargadatta Maharaj, such an encounter. I'm sure, as Vaughan would say, you are that. Thanks to for the courage, Bob. Thank you, Kat, for your presence too. Thank you. And David says again, thank you, Bob, so much. And I'm so happy that you have found a worthy partner to carry on with the work. Beautiful to be here. And Catherine, James says that Bob's pointers pulled him out of the delusion of pain and suffering into freedom. Beautifully said. Eternally grateful. And David, and let's be grateful for Nisargadatta, who set Bob on his way. And all of us are the beneficiaries of Bob's need to find himself and the cigarette seller that showed him who he is. And he also says, even from this remote location, I feel the energy in the room. Thank you, David. Beautiful. Jacinta.
Hello. Thanks, Bob and Kat. And one of Bob's pointers that I, really do love, Bob always says you're the absolute. You already knew who you were. And yes, there was lots of trauma as a child, alcoholism and all that. But even as a child, I didn't realise, and the more and more I listened to Bob, I always used to ask myself, why was I born this way? And there was every time, even as a little girl, when there was so much suffering, there was always that quietness and stillness. So all along, we don't realise, but it's a lovely point. We already know who we are. And the more we let go of the story and that, life's fucking amazing, really. And yeah, but we already knew, and I didn't realise my whole life, even during marriage and that, I would say, why was I born this way? Why was I experiencing it? And there was always a silence, and that's the stillness and the silence as if God. Love you both. Thank you.
Thank you, beautiful. And Anita says, I am so happy to see you all. No time, no distance. Thank you, Anita. Thank you for being with us.
It's hard to
Give it a go. Okay, I'll just
go ahead.
No. Yeah, I see you struggling. I just wanted to read one more comment. Agreed. Anika says the energy is so tangible and beautiful, and she sends her. Maybe that will help you.
All I was going to say is just that the benefits that I can't. It's hard to express because it's everything has changed without anything changing. You know, so what has changed? Well, nothing's changed really, but at the same time, that's the beautiful thing that it's not a thing, but this understanding that every time there's this upset happening, all that's happening is I'm giving attention to dreaming and believing this dream to be real in that moment, and I can see that that's just also dreaming. You know what I mean? It's I don't know. I think what's sometimes hard is knowing that this dream is going to shift, and parts of this dream is not going to be included as this form that I've come to love. There was something you had shared once about the I don't remember the poem, the beer and the tear and the beer or whatever, about, what was it, do not shed a tear? Can you refresh my memory on that? Because I love the poem.
Something about the empty shell, or I remember you were saying it at some point. I don't remember.
It's about life and death, I think.
Yeah.
So you remember that, darling?
If the voice is there.
If the voice is there, okay.
Loving friends, be wise, and dry every weeping eye. What you see upon the bier is not worth a single tear. 'Tis a simple seashell, one out of which the pearl has come. The shell is nothing, leave it there. The pearl, the all, the love is there.
Love is here.
Thank you.
Don't know whether that's what you thought it was or what.
That was exactly what it was. Thank you.
Nisargadatta has this interesting saying in which he is actually suggesting for people to take a different focal points of consciousness. He says, touch your finger, a forefinger, and the thumb, and then just enter the focal point of consciousness of one, and be the experiencer of that one. And we all have assumed a point in consciousness. I mean, the life has assumed the point in consciousness. There's a point consciousness looking out of this eyes, and eyes of the whales and fish and birds and everything. So he invites people to actually experiment with changing the focal point of consciousness. This is right before that, probably the most quoted part of his teachings, where he is talking about love being everything and nothing, love being nothing, wisdom being nothing, and love being everything, and between those two the life that is moving and changing. So I'm hanging out with Bob all the time lately, and I say, darling, if you could only see how many thousands of people over the years you touched, and you allow them to see clearly without that veil of conceptualizing and interpreting and relating to oneself, is absolutely unthinkable. And now, if you could only see me the way I see you, which is probably exactly how you see me, because the way I see Bob is just a pure shining life essence, and that's the same way he is seeing me. So in Nisargadatta's experience of the thumb and the forefinger, well, that will never change. It will always be Bob seeing me in the mirror, whether he is physically looking in the mirror or whether he is looking through my eyes. So that essence never goes anywhere. It can't die. The energy can't be destroyed. So, but right now he's here, and the shell is not empty. Let's celebrate that.
Yeah,
I just wanted to say I've been gently weeping in the back the whole time, just with so much love and gratitude. And I can't tell you how grateful I am. So thank you so much.
Beautiful. Thank you.
Oh, I was just going to... And then...
I think the greatest bit of the expression of gratitude is simply to recognise that the onslaught of truth has reached its end. You know, it's I can't resist it anymore. No matter how much I try, from time to time, to make up a story that sticks, some kind of conceptual reality that is insidious, really, isn't it? How that happens. At the very last, we recognise, oh shit, I'm in conflict, perhaps. What is this all about? It's a good question, isn't it? What's the conflict about? Is it a celebration of the oneness of all things, or is it the perpetuation of an idea or something separate, which patently cannot be true in the light of truth? You know, in the light of truth, very simply put by you, Bob, you're the master of simplicity, has reached its end regardless of how much I wanted to resist. You know, because at every turn I'm always reflecting back on this fucking teaching. the beauty of it, you know, the simplicity of it, and the amazing love that is emanating from you at all times. Yeah, thank you. That'll do. Thanks, Pete.
And I would also like to say that this is, Bob always highlights a two-way street. That beautiful community with love and gratitude reflected back to him. It wouldn't work if not for you guys. I don't know how we had life before Dean actually helped with managing the whole thing. And everyone's here. Thank you for being part of it. This is a group investigation. So everyone's input is precious. This is the same life expressing through everyone. Even if it expresses as a doubt, it is very precious. And thank you. And Maggie, you have the...
Narada Data, if you don't mind.
All right.
I'm taking on a spiritual name. Do you never think of taking one on? A spiritual name?
Babaji.
No.
Did you go offered one by the...
Nisargadatta called him Bhishma.
See?
But that was just a pet name, you know.
Well,
he wasn't
what
into
does it
all
mean?
that circus.
I know he wasn't, and knowing that feels so great. And you know what? To go back to the...
There was a character. It was a character in Mahabharata who was shoot 1,000 arrows and couldn't be destroyed.
Sorry, I thought that was the other term.
The thing about the name, about these special names, a lot of folks do that, but it's almost like buying it. It's almost like buying into that's what you are. I mean, why do that? It's like it's just taking on another label.
Exactly. That's why I only told people today I'm neither Maggie from Wonthaggi nor Narada Data. I am not. But I'm having a happy childhood. If that means not eschewing relativity and playing. Damn it, I'm playing. God wants my heart to heal and wants me. I wasn't a nurse for 50 years to not want this to go out to talk to people because, quite frankly, the limit of ignorance and the need to evolve is massive. I mean, you're all meeting people. I love my little town, but they need to know this, and I need to have the courage to find a way to bring it to them without being preacher or saying I'm a teacher or I've got this fancy name. I don't. I'm their friend, and I can. If all I can do for them at the time is this is what you asked for. How is it in your life? Mm-hmm. When I'm talking with the friend across the table, she's telling me about her ailments because that is part of this deal. If you get to a certain age, it's ailment comparing. So you sit and you listen, and I listen. I listen with all my heart. But I don't feel the compulsion to tell her what to do, or I used to. I knew everything. I was Nurse Maggie. Oh no. I live it and I love it, and it's love. It's love in action because it's loving this unit and respecting it because there is a body and it changes and it changes. This is, I see my hand. It doesn't see me. I mean, it's that simple.
Yeah. Beautiful.
Not that I am the witness of that, but it's an energy, and it's energy. Call it God, call it the function. It's love, but it wants to grow and move and wriggle and change the forms and change the wave paths. and create harmony and create serenity, but it does that by evening out extremes and not all at once, because it's a big tangle of thoughts. But just to go back to this, how it is in my day-to-day life, and I don't think there's anything wrong with talking about that. I'm talking into this like it's a microphone. I love doing the dishes. I love doing the dishes. You get in there and do those fucking dishes every day. No child wants to hear that nor do that, but that was the deal. So that was something I hated, but it's my home, and I say to the ancestor, my house, my rules, fuck off, because I'm conditioned by this strong woman energy, and it needs to tone down, and I can, and it takes you closer to home. And there was a lady said something before about when she came to Bob and kept coming and coming, and then as she got better, the physicality disappeared. She said, I didn't need to come so much. And it's a paradox. The closer you come and the further you go, the further you're coming to God yourself, the further you get away and don't have that neediness, that shedding of ego, that shedding of the suffering. And there is a process, and there is a time.
What process?
In the story. Yeah,
In the story.
Yeah.
Right.
No, well, there is and there isn't. And it's like, I don't think people believe I know that, but it isn't.
Mm-hmm.
But you can watch, you can have some compassion about it, and you can know when to act.
Mm-hmm.
And most of the time you don't have to. And the functioning then does take over. But I love that Bob did have the courage to go to Nisargadatta Maharaj. I love that you bring this teaching to us as an Australian, right here. No fancy schmancy stuff, no swinging of incense. I love all that, and I'll get into that. I absolutely do, and I love Bhajan. I love that whatever this function is, you're the teacher for right here and now, because there is only here and now, and it's the resonance of that deep spiritual thing. And it's this, at this point, I'd just like to say, for the people who held the space of this planet and understood the space between the objects for 70,000 years, thank you. And one last thing, but I have to go. The safest place in the universe is now.
Yeah.
Sorry,
No worries.
I think if things are not being related to a centre, then they just move on. And I think that was something I struggled with. Is that fine? Is that right?
I don't know. They don't. Yes. Yes. Okay.
Is the resistance to negativity, the resistance to things I don't like that are coming up? And I always thought that was a stumbling block, that, well, you know, I don't really see this anymore. But the thing is, can I accept that life is full of the positive and negative? You know, nobody's special, or we're all special. And wherever we are on the planet, these good things come up, so-called bad things come up. And then to not relate those bad things in particular, or even the good, to a self-centre is where I found a lot of freedom lies. And it was a bit of a struggle to accept that yes, that's going to be the that is the lot of life, in a sense, and the only reason why it is good or bad is the labelling, and that relates to the me. But if that's seen for what it is, it's free to move on. And all these simple pointers that Bob just gives, their simplicity is sometimes, well, I found, overlooked. But in seeing the truth of it in one's life, you see how it can actually free the mind from those good and bad things. And there's one other thing that I've found that's really valuable is seeing that normally my mind would want to come in and fix whatever it is that the challenge might be with the mind, and that is the resistance. And it's a wonderful thing to see the limitation of that the mind can fix lots of things in the world, go and buy things that need fixing, whatever. But psychologically, it's just like that machine is a never-ending cycle of trying to fix things, and it never, ever stops. Yeah. And Bob's simple pointing to not relating those problems to a me, but letting them pass through is a great freedom. Like today, yesterday it was boiling hot, today it's overcast and raining, and it's going to change again. And the same with the psychological, well, mainly with the psychological aspect of life, that those stories created by that mind are just the words, the imaging, and then to see that exactly as that, it sort of starts to tease it all, undo the whole thing. And that's a great thing to see operating in one's life. And thank you so much, Bob and Kat.
Thank you.
Just pass it. Well, T-Ball's going to say.
Okay,
Sorry.
I'll keep it simple, Bob, like you've kept it simple for me. Thank you for blowing my mind. It's I can't express how amazing it is that half hour, 45 minutes spiel can encompass so much, like literally millennia worth of teachings, and make it simple enough for this little thing to, hear at least some of the time. But yeah, I'm just forever grateful for what you've given all of us, and it's just simplicity is best. And like I kept looking at these cards on the wall. I mean, this encompasses everything. So thank you, and I love you all. Thank you.
Love you. And just a quick one regarding the cards. I didn't realize that will be mentioned. We have people in America who are actually working on digitalizing them, and they might be available very soon for those who don't want to carry the heavy box like this. Although the whole Bob's teachings is summarized in a box, so for those who don't like books, it is an incredible, incredible piece of art where you have every one-liner of Bob's put beautifully. But we'll have it in a digital version that will be linked. I'll make it as cheap as I can, so there will be no profits, just for the server space to be paid on eBay. And check the website. You don't have to carry the half-a kilo box. Just flip it on if you have an access. So that's that. And now, Lindsay, or
One more song.
One more song.
This is a request from Jane, and she suggested that I sing this
Rumi song, the Rumi
Rumi
song, and everyone can join in.
Yeah.
Very simple.
Well, Kavisha will be singing Rumi's song.
Beyond that is a wrongdoing, beyond that is a right doing. There is a field, a beautiful field. I'll miss you there. I'll miss you there. Beyond ideas of right doing, beyond ideas of right doing, there is a feeling, a beautiful feeling. I'll meet you there, I'll meet you there. Beyond ideas of wrongdoing, beyond ideas of right doing, there is a feel, a beautiful feel. I'll meet you there, I'll meet you there. I'll meet you there, I'll meet you there, I'll meet you there, I'll meet you there.
Yay! Lindsay, you wanted to say what? No? Okay, I have a couple of things here to include from the community, but I'm afraid I may not be able to read all the comments, so I will show them and read them to Bob from the Facebook page, and those who are watching us on YouTube, you can also just check it on the Facebook page. Salila says, all is vibrating beautifully. I would not want it any other way. No separation. This is the inside. I would not want it in any other way. So this is where there is no resistance to life. Thank you, Salila. No separation, only love here. Oopsie. Love here, you are our biggest blessing. Sweet tears of love and beauty. Thank you, Kat, for the blessings you are. And with much appreciation, affection, always love. Big hug. Aidan, Mattia, and Salila. And ditto. And Kathy says, it is difficult to explain the difference Bob made almost 40 years ago, living across the road from Jane, when we met Bob and his understanding. I clearly remember coming home from the group and suddenly realizing what it was that was spoken about, and what it was that I am. And since that time, my mind that was always asking why, slowly dissolved into the light of awareness. Thanks to Bob. Thank you. Love you, Bob. And David says, tell Maggie I'll save the dishes for her. And Amarnath says, words are wordless, thoughts are thoughtless. Do you want to say something, darling? No? And Jenny says, that was a good one. The safest place in the universe is now. And it is, and it is always here and now. There is no other experience, nothing. The future can't be experienced. Yeah, well, that's in the story. You may have a broken leg, you may have a cancer. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, any sort of ailment, emotional or whatever, that in the story for the dream character, everything is valid, including medication, including pain medication. This is for the dream character. This is to be really loved and appreciated. But yes, in the present moment, what is wrong? What is sick? What needs healing? In the present moment, everything is perfectly resolved. Thank you for bringing it in. And now, looking is overlooked, says Amarnath. And I think I won't be able to actually read all of it. It's just, thank you, everyone. Thank you for being here with us, and thank you for reflecting that love back. And thank you for all the comments also that come on the Facebook group. I read it thoroughly to Bob just to bring back, to show how many lives this dream character, the same life, but through this character, have made an impact. And I know of people who wake up every morning with the first thought of their minds being on a gratitude of the blessing of meeting Bob, because the life is like the dream before and after meeting Bob, and that's definitely my case too. It was the best decade of my life, and it's still on. And life before Bob wasn't worth mentioning. So if anyone would like to have a last word, that will be very quick. If not, we're just going to wrap it up and let the old man rest a little bit.
One more song, maybe? One more song?
Yeah, one more song. You happy, Bob, for one more song? Hey? Yes, yes, okay.
Okay, here's a new one. Really easy. Can find the chords. My name is love. My name is love. My true name is love. Our true name is love. Our name is love. Our name is love. Our true name is love. Our true name is love.